Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another tier maker video. At the date that I am recording this, it is currently the 29th. It is about 9 p.m., and I am pumped because the Chicago Bulls just pulled off getting the win over the Washington Wizards. I know that that's not a lot, but when they have two all-star caliber players on their team, and the only one that even comes close to for us is Zach LaVine, hey, a W is a W. It's our first win of the year. I'm super stoked. And I just had to go ahead and make another video. I'm in a really good mood now. Other than the fact that, like the Bulls still suck. But hey, at the end of the day, one step at a time. One step at a time. So, we have a tier maker video. This is for the starting center for all 30 NBA teams. I do believe that there's a couple that are off. I think in this one, they have Nerlens Noel, I think, starting at center for the Thunder, which is not correct. I think Al Horford is technically the starting center for them. And then same with Jarrett Allen. They have Jarrett Allen here, who I don't believe is the starting center. I think they start DeAndre Jordan over him. And I'm not 100% sure about Hassan Whiteside either. I thought Hassan Whiteside came off the bench, and I thought Richaun Holmes started. But other than that, it seems pretty correct. I can't find anything else that would be wrong about it. So I'm going to just go ahead and hop into it. I did add in just a couple more categories just so that way you can kind of decipher in between even more. Just so that way we can add in some more variation. So the very first one, we actually have Al Horford here. So I must have been wrong. So Nerlens Noel, hold on, give me a sec. Let me see what team, maybe I am completely wrong. Okay, oh, so he is on the Knicks. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the Knicks starting lineup just really quick. I want to see if he is actually starting or not. No, it is Mitchell Robinson. So, Mitchell Robinson instead of who was it? Nerlens Noel. But other than that, I mean, it looks pretty correct, I would say, for the most part. So, Al Horford. Al Horford is on a very bad basketball team. I don't have too much to say about Al Horford. He was good before he got to the Sixers. He took a big step back once he got to the Sixers, and has kind of stayed at that same level since then. I'm going to put him in average. He's a decent player. It's just he doesn't really do anything extremely well. His defense is pretty good. He can stretch the floor. He can finish, but he's just average. Just an average guy. Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is interesting because of the mere fact that he can't shoot, but he can finish very well and rebound better than anyone in the league, in my opinion. So with those two factors, just because he is truly the greatest rebounder in the entire league, I'm putting him at elite. He's on a very bad team. They probably won't ever win anything, but you can count on every single time that he's on the floor, he will get a double-double. There's absolutely no debating that whatsoever. Aaron Baines is the next one. Aaron Baines is a very good defensive player. He just doesn't really bring a whole lot to the table offensively, or at least I don't think so. So in my opinion, he's going to be average to me. He's just kind of a defensive center. He doesn't really do a whole lot on the offensive end, which is okay. I mean, as a center, you don't necessarily have to be like a sharpshooter, but it definitely helps. So he's going to go in average for me. Bam Adebayo is interesting because he came literally a couple games away from being an NBA champion, but at the same time, he's also a very defensive center, but he can kind of stretch the floor. He can finish pretty well. He's definitely going to be in great or elite. I think for now, I'm going to put him in great. but I think he has a lot of potential to move up into that elite category. I just... this is a tough one. This is a very tough one for me. I'm going to put him up in elite. That's fine with me. He's a very good player. Very good player. He's just... excuse me. He's a very good player. It's just a matter of, you know, is he really elite? Like, he does everything pretty well. He's just not extremely well. So I'll put him in elite just because he does do a little bit of everything. But that's definitely going to be my my most 50-50 ball for greater elite. The next one is Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is another one of those 3-and-D type of centers. He can't finish as well as, you know, a lot of people had thought, but his defense and his three-point shooting definitely makes up for that. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to put him in good, because I do think he's a good center. He's definitely someone that you want to have on your team as opposed to against, to play against. I like him. I like him in the good section. Christian Wood. He's the new center for the Rockets. I like Christian Wood. I have said on this channel before that I used to be a huge James Harden fan. Not so much anymore, just because I don't like everything that is kind of going on in his life. Not a big fan, but regardless, Christian Wood is his center, and Christian Wood gets a lot of those rebounds that he misses. He also can finish pretty well, and I think he's even got a decent little mid-range, so he's got a lot of pieces to his game. I think Wood is a good center, and that's right where he's going to go, is good. He could, at the end of the year, see him in great. I could definitely see that. It's just for right now, just because he didn't really have a whole lot to prove on the Pistons, back when he was on the Pistons, he's going to go in good. Clint Capella. Clint Capella is a defensive and finishing type of center. He can dunk and get airtime like none other. He can catch oops very well. His defense is very good. He just can't shoot at all. So just because he does excel at rebounding and just because he does excel at finishing, I am going to put him in good. He's a good center to have on your roster if you're looking for that type of game. But, yeah. Zeller, do I need to say much? Do I really need to say much? Zeller is not that good of a player. Like, at all. He's not. Zeller is... He doesn't do anything well. I mean, his rebounding is below average, I'd say. His shooting is non-existent. Well, I guess he does have a little bit of a shot, but it's not enough to make him useful on the offensive side of the floor. He can't really finish. Can't really play defense very well. I mean, he is a very bad starting center. If you have Cody Zeller as your starting center, that's just a bad center. Don't need to say much more. Daniel Theis is going to go an average for me. He's another guy. He's very similar to Aaron Baines in my opinion. In regards to he can play defense, can finish pretty well. Doesn't really bring a whole lot to the offensive side of the ball, but a defensive menace. So I really like Aaron Baines is kind of like a system center, but he's pretty good in that regard. Okay, DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is good for me. I'm gonna put him in great. The reason why is because even though he is a young center, he does a lot very well. He is a very, I'd say even close to elite rebounder. He can finish pretty well, and he's even got a jump shot. So him and Bam are very similar to me. It's just a matter of, I think that Ayton needs one more year of good stats in order for me to put him in elite, maybe two. But he is a very good center. He is a center that you would want on your team 100%. It's just, I can't put him in elite yet. He's not in this tier. He's just not. Now this is Hassan Whiteside here. The starter is actually Richaun Holmes. Hassan Whiteside might go right alongside Mr. Zeller here. I can't lie to you. maybe average. Maybe. I guess we'll put him in average. But he's not very good. He's not very good. He was good on the Heat. He was one of those main guys on the Heat. Very, good player back then. But he doesn't do anything right now other than block shots, and his defense really isn't that good. He just blocks shots, and he can't really finish, very well. I mean, he can dunk because he's so tall, but his layups kind of suck. He's not a very good basketball player, just in general. And I don't know. Him and Zeller are very close to me, but the only reason I gave Hassan Whiteside the edge is because of the fact that he actually blocks shots. Zeller doesn't even do that, so he's going to go on average for me. The next we have is Jakob Poeltl. I feel like LaMarcus should be here. LaMarcus should be the starting center, opposed to Jakob Poeltl. I think that the Spurs start Aldridge at the 5. Jeez, sorry. But for the sake of this video, we'll keep it as Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl is going to be an average as well. His offense is there. Jakob Poeltl is he's serviceable. He can get rebounds. So he just can't really. His defense is not necessarily the best. But Jakob Poeltl is a pretty good center. I think he's right where he belongs. James Wiseman. At this point, we are 3 or 4 games into the season, and I'm putting James Wiseman in good. I can't put him any higher yet. I could see myself putting him in great. I do think that Wiseman's going to win Rookie of the Year, either him or Patrick Williams, just because they do both have so much usage on the teams that they're on. And on top of that, they're not on very good teams. So if Wiseman is the second leading scorer on a Warriors team that somehow makes the playoffs, I think it's a pretty easy choice. So Wiseman is a very good scorer of the basketball. He's got a 3-ball. He's got a mid-range. He can even handle the ball. He's actually pretty serviceable on defense. His rebounding is kind of iffy as of right now, but it's not bad either. He's a pretty good center. I can't really put him in great yet just because it is his first year, but by the end of the year, I could definitely see him being in great. Next, we have Jared Allen. I don't think Jared Allen starts. I think they start DeAndre Jordan, but for the sake of this, we're gonna use Jared Allen. Jared Allen's another good center. I can't go any higher once again. Jared Allen is kind of like Hassan Whiteside, but just better. Jared Allen blocks a lot of shots. He's very athletic, but he can actually score, which is something that obviously Hassan Whiteside cannot do. So, I put him in good. I can't put him any higher than that. And I can't really put him any lower than that because he's above average, but he's definitely not great. So, anyway, next what we have is Embiid. Don't gotta say much about Embiid, do I? Embiid deserves to be an elite. He's very good on the offensive side of the ball. He's really good defensively. His rebounding is pretty good. So, I mean, he's probably like top 3 centers in the. No, he's probably top 2. I'd say Jokic is 1. He's number 2. So he's got to be elite. So, next we have Joe Val, Mr. Jonas Valanciunas. I'm going to put him. Joe Val. Let's see. See, the thing about Jonas Valanciunas is he has a jump shot. He can rebound pretty well. And his defense is pretty good. You just can't really finish. Or at least not super well. I'm going to put him in great. I feel like Jonas Valanciunas is kind of overlooked just because he is on the Grizzlies and they have Ja Morant. So Ja Morant is, by the way, prayers up to Ja Morant. I know it's just a sprain, but I do hope the best in regards to recovery for him. But so Joe Val, he's kind of in the shadow of Ja Morant, but he's actually a really good center. Like I said, he can get rebounds. He can play defense. He actually has a really nice jump shot for a big guy. And I'd say he's a great center. I truly would. Same with Nurkic. Nurkic is a great center in my opinion. Um, Nurkic can do just a little bit of everything. He's got all the pieces to be elite. I'd say, in my opinion, his breakout year was last year. So, since his breakout year was last year, if he puts up those same numbers for this next year, I could probably put him in elite. And he's showing a lot of promise, so I like where he's at. But it's just, at this moment, I can't put him in elite. I can't. Karl-Anthony Towns, elite. Now, I went to a Timberwolves versus Indiana Pacers game with with basically two defensive centers and Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner guarding him, and he still dropped like I want to say like 44, 46 points. It was close to a 50 piece. He's one of those centers that can go out and get you buckets. Like he could probably, or if he wanted to, he could probably put up 50 every single night, or like at least 40. For like no doubt, he could put up 40 points every single night. He can handle the ball. He can play make for his teammates. He can do everything on the offensive side of the ball. His defense does lack, but his rebounding is still really good. He still is probably going to get you a double-double every single night. It's just a matter of his defense is pretty bad for a center. So if he could improve that, dude, he'd probably be like top 5, or no, probably like top 3 centers in the league, because his offense is so electric. Kristaps Porzingis is definitely great or elite. I'm gonna put him in elite. Just because of the fact that he is 7 foot, I don't know. He's a 7-footer that can shoot threes. He can shoot threes like a guard. He's 7'3". He can get rebounds, and he's actually really good on defense. So he's got pretty much everything that you would want in a center. He fits in really well with Luka too. So between the two of them, and just the roster that they have, he's good at rebounding, like I said, good at defense, can shoot, he can even play make if he has to. So he definitely deserves to be an elite for me. Marc Gasol. Now, Marc Gasol for me, I've watched the first 4 Lakers games. He's looked really bad. He has looked really, really, really bad. And maybe it's just because he's taken a couple steps back in regards to, like maybe he's just regressed. And I get it, some players, well, I mean, all players eventually end up getting a little bit worse, and I get that. But he has taken a huge jump from when he was in Toronto. So I'm going to put him for now in average. I can't really put him in good. He's been really, really bad. So until he has a good game in the Lakers or on the Lakers, then I just can't put him in good. He's not completely useless. I mean, he kind of has been the first couple of games, but he's not completely useless. And I know he does have a jump shot. I know his defense is okay. So I will have to put him in average. Plumlee, Mason Plumlee. For me, Plumlee is close to below average. He's close. Yeah. Yeah, Plumlee's going to be below average for me. Plumlee, not very good on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty good rebounding the basketball. Pretty good defensively, I guess. Or I'd say pretty average defensively. No offensive side of the game of the ball whatsoever. I can't put him any higher than that. Miles Turner. Miles Turner is going to be average for me. Miles Turner can block shots and shoot threes. That's about it. His rebounding is not very good. Sabonis is the main rebounder on that team. Yeah. I mean, he's just okay. He used to have some ceiling games in Indiana. where he could have like really good nights, but he's not that same player anymore. So Nerlens Noel is below average for me. In my opinion, he can't really do anything very well. His scoring is not very good. His rebounding is not very good. His defense is not. His defense is probably the best part of his game, but it's still very average. I guess he has a little bit of a jump shot, but it's not enough to put him in average, in my opinion. So he's going to stick right there in below average. Jokic, do I need to say anything? He's an elite. He can do everything. He makes like a point guard. He can shoot. He can finish. He can play defense. His defense is a little sketch, but he still gets the job done. He's still a good center. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. The next we have Vucevic. Love Vooch. I think he's a great center. His offense is actually electric. I think that Vucevic could be an elite point guard, an elite center. The only issue with Vooch is his defense. Once again, just like a lot of these guys. But if he had better defense, he'd be an elite. He can rebound the ball really well and can do genuinely everything on the offensive side of the ball. Rudy Gobert, I'm going to put in great. Just because of his offensive skill set, I can't put him in elite. His defensively, he'd be an elite. Obviously, he's a great shot blocker. He can rebound really well, and he can actually just play defense just in general, low post, out to mid range very well. But other than that, he's just kind of in the middle. You know what I'm saying? He's all right. Like offensively, he just can't do much. Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka. We'll skip Serge Ibaka and come back. Steven Adams, in my opinion, I'm gonna put him in great. Just because of his defensive skill set, and the fact that he does have some offense too, like he can finish, and he actually has a mid-range, and his defense is actually really well. His defense is actually really good. So, I mean, he's kind of a complete package. He's on I guess I shouldn't say much better, but he's on the Pelicans now, which I think is going to be a better team. He's got Zion taking some of his rebounds, so maybe I might have to push it down to good. But the problem is like all these guys, other than maybe Wiseman, Steven Adams has a better jump shot than them, and actually just a better offensive skill set than pretty much all of these guys. So that's why I put him in great, which is kind of, I know, controversial, but I like where he's at in great. Thomas Bryant, average. Can't really put him any higher, but I can't put him in the below average. His defense is actually very good, especially for a young player, and he can finish inside. So, I mean, he's all right. He's all right. I don't really need to say too much to him. It's too much more about it. Same goes with this guy, Wendell Carter Jr. Even though he is a Bull, and I would love to say that he's elite or something, he's not. I'd say he's an average center. I think Wendell does have a decent jump shot. If he works on it a little bit, he could definitely be a hell of a player. I just don't know if he will be. But I think he'll be. I think he's a pretty good player, especially for a team as bad as the Chicago Bulls. So I kind of like where he's at. But so now I've had time to ponder on the old Serge Ibaka type thing, and I'm going to put him in good. His defensive ability is obviously pretty good. His shooting makes him a very good big, but his finishing isn't really there. He obviously can't play make, and his shooting isn't like elite. Like, he's not like a knockdown shooter, like, oh, don't leave him open like KP, you know what I'm saying? So he's a pretty good shooter. I'd say he's very good on defense, and I would say that just his defense is really good. Just his shooting is really good. His finishing is eh. So, yeah. So that's going to do it for me here, you guys. If you guys did disagree with anything, or if you guys thought anybody should be in different spots, or what do you guys want to see next? Like what position do you guys want to see? I can do another one of these. I could do coaches. I could do I don't know. I could do anything. So, or I could somehow rank like the arenas. Like what would be the coolest arena, you know? But if you guys are liking these videos, make sure you guys like and comment and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. I am going to try to keep uploading daily. I've been uploading daily for a little bit now. I just had some issues with uploading files probably like 4 or 5 days ago. So because of that, there is a couple days where I didn't have anything uploading. But I am trying to do it daily. So if you guys did enjoy, like I said, let me know what you guys want to see next. But until next time, this is King Center signing out. Peace.